Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye up, bye up. In a menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to get straight to the content of the day. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun is kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. Thank you very much. I'm humbled by it. So let's talk Donald Trump, right? 47. The 4-5, click, click, clack, 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 to the 4-7 is making some drastic changes fast, right? And I kind of wanted to give you my 2 cents and my perspective on it. I know a lot of people are hyping it up, and there's a lot of people with a misconceived notion that Donald Trump is against Mexicans or he's against brown people. I don't believe that. I believe, man, that this guy has nothing to lose, and he's going into the going in with his administration with reckless abandonment, especially someone that's, man, been through the ringer, been through it. He's going for it right now. I don't agree with all the policies, and my heart goes out to the Mexicanos and to the illegal people that are actually, going through the motions and the situations, and families are being torn apart. I don't agree with it, straight up. What I agree with is I agree with diplomacy, and I agree with a good, it's hard to say this without rocking the boat, right? A good economy by merit. People that go out there and work. I believe if we all do our part, man, then the economy will get better. We need more jobs. We need more people getting off their lazy ass, getting jobs and all that. But what I wanted to talk about is something that he touched on yesterday concerning the cartels and street gangs and other organizations. Donald Trump has taken a stance. And what does that mean for the street gangs? What does that mean for your local hoods, the barrios? Is it going to have an impact? Absolutely. Absolutely. So Donald Trump yesterday has declared war and said that cartels from Mexico are, a foreign terrorist group. Now, that right there is a big deal because that gives the government the power, that gives his Trump the power to basically declare war on the Mexican cartels. Now, there's a lot of people who have lost family members due to, some of that business and fentanyl and all these different things that allegedly they say the cartel is involved with. I myself don't really speak on cartel business because it's none of my business. At the same time, I'm not a dumb individual. I'm a very well-versed individual in what's going on around me. And I could see, man, there's an issue. There's a problem. There's a lot of problems in society. And Donald Trump says that the cartels create a lot of problems. So he has, targeted them as a criminal organization as well as, a terrorist group, foreign, not domestic, but foreign. Now, let's talk domestic terrorism right now. Street gangs that ravage their barrios, their hoods, and, spray paint, graffiti, burglarize, assault, shooting, all these different types of things that have happened since the beginning of gangs. There's been different things that they've implemented statewide to control. Has it been able to control the gangs in the barrios, especially like in states like California? Absolutely not. They got the Criminal Street Gang Acts. They got, these RICOs that they do constantly where they try to take out, the head of the snake. You got gang enhancements that were implemented to, give people harsher sentences. That didn't do nothing but fill up the CDC prison cells. There's a lot of different things that they've implemented to try to control or stop gang violence or stop the gang momentum, and nothing has seemed to work. Gang members are born every day. I remember my homeboys, us talking about we wanted better things for our children, and now I see some of my homeboys' kids doing life in prison. Luckily, I haven't had to have that happen in my life. Thank God I only have daughters, right? But I used to dread having a son, thinking what's going to happen in the future with him, because most children, the only example they have is their parents or people around them or their neighborhood around them. And if they see you doing something, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to think it's all right. And even if they know it's not all right, they're still going to participate because that's all they know. You got to show your kids a different example, a better person. That's why a lot of us strive, for the betterment of our children, if not for anything else, right? A lot of us, we figure, hey, we've already lived our life. It's fucked up. It is what it is. Let's do better for our children, at least, if not for anything else, right? That's kind of what I strive for every day. Like I said, I'm a very active father. Not a gang member, father. Used to be an active gang member, now I'm an active father. Couldn't be both. Couldn't be both, man. They didn't connect. The puzzle pieces didn't fit. There are a lot of people that are still in the gang life and they're active in their kids' life. And I'm not saying it doesn't work for everyone, but I'm saying it didn't work for me. When I was committed, that's all I thought about, and I was super committed. So how does Donald Trump's new vision for America impact street gangs? Well, it does, and it impacts them in a whole bunch of different situations. A lot of these street gangs are relying upon connections, in the drug trade, to get guns, to terrorize their voters in their hoods. Because let's be totally honest here. When it comes to gang members and gangs, the whole thing with being a gang member, at first you get into it because maybe a lack of love in the household, maybe a lack of family, a lack of a male role model or a female role model. And you get it because you think you're cool, man. You think it's cool. That's what I thought, man. I thought I was tough. It was cool. I was bullying people. I was punking people. I wanted to get tattoos, go to prison, and show I was a gangster. I was a real one, right? And then you realize it ain't everything it's cracked up to be. You realize the barrio you love don't love you back like you thought it did, right? You realize a lot of people that are in your neighborhood are either telling on you or want you the fuck out of the way because you're posing a threat to what they got going on. Their kids can't ride their bikes in the neighborhood anymore. There's gang and gun violence. There's a lot of shit going on, and you're enemy 101. You become where you were once respected in the hood, even feared, which is what we strive for as gang members. Respect, homie. But that feels even better, right? And that's all we wanted. Now, people don't want you in the streets. People don't want their kids to grow up to see guys on the corner hanging out, drinking pisto and slamming. They don't want that. Times have changed. Most of these kids anyways ain't going outside. They're all on the fucking computer. But people now are gangbanging through the phone. They're gangbanging over the fucking tablet. And it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. I thought, a lot of people said gangbanging got watered down. It's dying out. It really hasn't. It's just changed. It went from the streets where it really mattered to now they could gangbang from the comfort of their home. Anyone could be anything they want to be on the internet. I mean, we got a whole bunch of active gang members on YouTube that talk shit every day, but then will tell on you, quit, report you. It's just crazy. You know who I'm talking about, Blue Devil and guys like that. Now, let's be honest here and real. Trump's idealisms are not for everyone. Not everyone's going to agree. I agree with a lot of his policies. I agree with a lot of things. There are some things, like I said, man, I don't agree with. But when it comes to the gang lifestyle, having lived it, I know what it's about. And I know how someone who is targeting you, especially law enforcement and any administration, that's a big threat. That's a big threat because now what you're going to start to see is you're going to see more crackdowns, more RICOs, more federal cases, guys locked up for much longer, families disrupted and destroyed. And I ain't mad at it. And I'm going to be real. I'm not mad at it because I'm one of those guys, if you play the game, play it to the end, right? And if you get burnt somewhere along the line, then you just got burnt and you lost your fucking, you lost your space on that board. And I believe in this also. When it comes to gangs, there's no more room in society for the bullshit shenanigans, the wannabes, or the guys that are out there fucking destroying neighborhoods and barrios. You're supposed to love your neighborhood. You're supposed to give back to your community. You're supposed to influence children to do the better thing. When you're out there at Tecato on the streets talking about you're active or you're a gangster or you're this or that, you really, man, you're really a threat to society and no one wants you around. No one likes that. Donald Trump's putting his foot down, and I agree, there's going to be a lot of changes. It's definitely going to affect gangs like MS-13, who he's targeted. Do I agree with targeting one group? I don't agree with targeting, period. But when the government or somebody feels in power feels that this one organization or this one group is causing chaos and they just don't care, whatever happens, happens. Now, we've seen what happened in El Salvador. They created a super prison and started going door to door, locking guys up that had a tattoo. And, there was a lot of guys in that situation that are sitting down now all day doing life, right, in prison that are merely there for having a tattoo. Guys that had got their shit together, that were no longer living the gang lifestyle, that have changed. People like me that have changed. And just because they had a tattoo or even a tattoo resembling that they were part of a gang and they had that look, they were snatched up. Will that happen here in America? Well, America's a little bit different. You know, there's Supreme Courts and there's legislature and there's a lot of different things and lawyers. And, you know, when you're not a third world country or even a country like El Salvador, you know, you get a lot more action and a lot more freedoms and liberties. But that doesn't mean things ain't going to change where you could find yourself incarcerated doing due process until, you know, you could prove otherwise that you're not a gang member. Is it going to impact local street gangs? Well, every state's different. You understand that Donald Trump has control over the federal government, okay? One part of the federal government, the executive branch, I believe. So he has control over certain things, and there's certain things he doesn't. It has to go to a vote. But with him taking a hard stance against gangs, against cartels, against organizations, criminal organizations, it's going to impact and trickle down and touch everyone's lives, especially street gang members, because what's going to happen, man, is the federal government is going to use those taxes and funding, and instead of giving money to the Ukraine and to these war-torn countries, they're going to give money to lock more people up, to clean up these barrios in these streets, because everybody wants change. Not everybody, but there's a lot of people that do. Now, am I against gang members? Absolutely not, man. I lived that life for a long time. I believe everyone should have the right to decide what they want to be. But I'm here to tell you it didn't work out for me, and it's probably not going to work out for you. You know, what did I achieve being a gang member? I took a life, and I did time for it. I was incarcerated as a youth, my whole childhood. I was incarcerated from the age of 11 all the way to the age of 18. And then I was in and out of prisons systems, 3 different systems, accumulating CDC numbers, you know, accumulating canteen and enemies and opposition. And, you know, there was no good medical system when I was sick. I just had to fight through it, tough it out. I lost family members along the way I wasn't able to connect with. I lost relationships due to incarceration. And all that was to show that I was a badass and I was cool. Meanwhile, a lot of the people that I grew up with that didn't participate in gangs, that didn't involve themselves, they achieved. They had families. They bought homes, vehicles. You know, a lot of things they did that when I got out, I had to start from ground zero. The turtle race, they ran that turtle race. I was not the rabbit. They were the rabbit and I was the turtle. I was slow motion. And it took me a long time to decide for myself what was best for me and best for my children. Because along the way, as gang members, what happens, man? There's women that are infatuated. There's women in the lifestyle there, and they're attracted to people with tattoos, gang members. It's just the fucking way it is. I never understood a woman that is like that, but they are, right? They like a bad boy and no diddy. And so what happens is along the way, man, you start to have kids. You start to have people that rely on you and depend on you. And if you don't got your mind right, you can't shine right. There's nothing you could do for someone else if you ain't got your shit together. So as a gang member, man, it's a constant circle trying to get your shit together, getting locked up, losing everything, coming back, doing it over and over and over again. You know, so I myself, when it comes to me, didn't see the benefits of it. You know, the same people I strived for and I fought for and the cause I truly believed in, you know, didn't believe in me, utilized me. And that was that. You know, I don't blame anyone else. I'm not the type of channel or person to blame everyone else. Boo.
It's all your fault. It's all your fault, right?
I don't do that shit. It's my fault. I chose to be a gang member. I chose to involve myself. And thank God, man, I'm here to talk about it in the past tense. And I still have a life to live, right? For however long they let me live it. Now, Donald Trump, man, is going to change the game. You know, he's going to treat every gang member, every person who's out there doing criminal acts and is involved in criminality bad. Do they got that coming? Perhaps, man. You do the crime, you got to do the time, right? What do the homeboys say? Stay solid. That's it, stay solid, right? Well, you got to stay solid, man, when he comes knocking at your door. You know, as far as the policies of Donald Trump's immigration reform and these things like that, I don't agree with everything because I don't like to see human beings hurt in the streets. There's a lot of people trying to do the right thing, and I believe they should be allowed to do the right thing. But I do agree, man, that if you're committing criminal acts and you're over here causing drama in the United States, man, there's no room for you. There's no space for you. You're occupying space that you shouldn't occupy. And hey, you're going to go where you go, man. If it takes that man having to put it down, then he's going to put it down, right? And I'm all for that. but I'm not in for separating families and throwing people on the streets and doing all that and taking people, taking people's what little freedoms that they've attained. That's a sad situation. But anyways, when it comes to the gang stuff, everything's going to have a big impact. It's going to definitely impact local street gangs, because when you see big organizations targeted, like I said, it's a trickle down effect. Every soldado, every barrio are interwoven. There's things that they're involved in that I can't speak on that will immensely affect, their program and their neighborhood and what they got going on. And, this is just the beginning. That's how it starts. They start to go for the heads of these organizations and incarcerate people. Is it going to change anything? To be totally honest with you, I'll explain it. No. I learned a long time ago from a fucking scowler, like one of the smartest persons I've ever came across. In fact, I love him on Law and Order. Ice-T said the gangs in LA will never die. They'll just multiply, kill it. Right? So when Ice-T said it, he wasn't far from the truth. He wasn't bullshitting you. The gangs will stay. There will always be those. Will they be watered down? Will they ever be the same again? Nah, probably not. Different people, different times, different places. But this is definitely something that's going to be instrumental that Donald Trump is putting down. He's laying a demo down, and he's laying a demo on MS-13. Shout out to MS-13. Respects, man. I want no problems, man. He's laying demos down on the cartels. He's going to lay demos down. Is it going to ultimately fucking change the world? No, of course not. One man is not capable or able to do that, but it's definitely going to put a stick in some people's spokes. I said stick in spokes, and Wes Watson got all happy.
Fucking chiro.
Look, I'm just being honest with you guys. It's definitely going to affect gangs. And I wanted to do this video, and I know a lot of people are going to, oh, Gun, you support Trump, you support this. I support my family every day. I support people in the community, man, that ain't got it like that. I support content creators that get at me behind the scenes, man, asking for my help. I support the people that are out there struggling, the single mothers without fucking men in their lives. I support a tirada that just wants to have a good time. I support it, right? There's a lot of things I support, and there's a lot of things I don't agree with. But as a whole, man, I believe that gangs now are going to be targeted. And you got to understand, if you're willing to commit yourself to that lifestyle to the fullest, you're looking at a lifetime of incarceration or death. Now, you've always looked at that, but now even more so than anything, because now, back in the days, you'd hear about gang violence in LA. Mostly they focused on that, or Chicago, or even Florida, different states, right? But now they're targeting middle America. Now they're targeting, they're tired of gangs in, being an influx in these fucking states like fucking Delaware and Idaho and North Dakota and South Dakota and Virginia and North Carolina, all these places where, the influence of California and Chicago and Atlanta and Florida, all where the gangs, are homegrown, and then they go into these different places. Middle America's tired of it. I'm not saying white America. I'm saying middle America is tired of it. People that are just blue collar workers that just want to do good in life and achieve and raise their children. They're tired of it, man. And Donald Trump's stepping up, and he's saying enough is enough, man. And he's going to target gang members. Do I ever think that there's going to be a label domestic terrorism? Yes. Yes, this is how it starts, man. Everybody better stay on their toes and aware. Again, man, I'm not for gang members fucking up the barrios in the city. I believe in representing the neighborhood you're from, loving your community, loving your city, bringing back the salt to the earth, right? I believe in that. But I also believe there's people that will utilize barrios and utilize territory and utilize their homeboys for their own selfish, greedy intentions. And unfortunately, for those that have been getting away with it for a long time, there's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Trump, right? And he's coming in targeting people. So yes, it will have an immense effect on street gangs. Maybe not right off the bat, but eventually. And this goes for everyone: Crips, Bloods, North, South, any other gangs, that believe, man, it's just another president. He doesn't affect me until he does, right? Anyways, with that being said, I just want to throw a little spill out there this morning, man. A little something different, man. Tap in, thumbs up or thumbs down. Let me know what you think. You think I'm just blowing hot air and I'm full of shit? Again, man, I'm for the people, by the people. I believe everybody should have the rights and freedoms, man. Even people that are illegal, I believe if they want to come do the right thing, they want to stay away from the shenanigans and the bullshit, they should be given that right, man. because this is not the United States' earth. This is not China's earth. This is not Russia's earth. This is God's earth. That's what I believe, man. And everyone should have the right to everywhere. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. Just some real game knowledge you can't get in college, man. I'm going to continue to wear that crown. And when I don't, I still got mines. The gun. Bang, bang.